welcome back. If you're new here, hello, and a special welcome. As you can see behind me, I have been sorting through all sorts of seeds, and I've been just sorting them, organizing them, making my garden plans. We have lots going on, and we are getting ready to start a lot of things from seed. It's February for Zone 7. That means there is a lot of seeds that need to be started right now, so we'll be ready for planting season in March and April. So I'm doing a lot of things, working on getting ready for spring already and planting. And I'm going to be doing a few videos about seed starting, and these are going to be videos for the new gardener, and then even if you've been gardening for a long time, we're just going to talk about some different things with when to start seeds, some tips for starting seeds that can be a little more difficult to sow and get them to germinate properly, such as that. But today, before we even get into any of that, we are going to start out by talking about and just looking into the whole reason of why should you even go through all the extra trouble to start your plants from seed when you could just run out to the garden store and buy your plants, throw them in the garden, and be done. So why in the world, if you can go buy plants, why would you even want to spend the extra time to start your plants from seed at home? So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to give you my personal reasons why I prefer to start my plants from seed. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about the number one reason why I decided that I needed to learn how to seed start and how to grow all the plants that I was going to need in my garden for the year from seed in my own home. And the reason for that is one word: sustainability. So I realized after many years of going to the garden center and just buying all the plants that I needed to start my garden, one day I realized, it just kind of hit me. I was like, what if I just couldn't go buy these from the store anymore? Like, what would happen then? Would I be able to still grow things like peppers and tomatoes, things that are a lot harder to start from seed that you can't just plant out in the ground here in Zone 7 and expect to get any kind of great harvest from? So my thought one day as I was just strolling along through the garden section was, what if something happened with the greenhouses that grow these, and they had some type of a disease and it wiped out all the tomato plant starts, and then there was none for us to buy? Or what if there was a fuel shortage and getting these plant starts from like Texas to Tennessee just wasn't going to happen, and so we would just be out, we wouldn't have these plants available to us to just go and buy from? Then what would we do? Would I be able to still grow the type of garden that I would need to really supply the amount of food that we need to get by? And my answer to that was, I'm probably not going to be able to do that unless I start practicing how to grow my tomatoes and different things of that nature, herbs and such, from seed now, because I'm not very good at this. So I decided to start learning as much as I could. I read lots of books, watched lots of YouTube videos, and learned and took lots of notes and began to start my own plant starts at home. I bought some of the basic supplies, and I've had some, failures along the way, of course, like most things when you're learning them. And after a few years, I think I've really gotten the hang of it. And in the long run, it has saved us so much money. And it is just well worth it to start our garden from seed. And that has allowed us to, as we are seed saving at the end of the year, to have that seed and not have to order more seed. And we are able to take the seed that we have saved and start those seeds at home, and then grow those into plants that we can then put out into our garden. And that has really closed the loop for and helped us be more sustainable as a household. And so that is my number one reason why we personally began to try to start all of our garden seed here at home, and then just transplant them out into the garden, so that we wouldn't have to rely on stores to provide us with the plants that we need to grow a garden. Okay, so the second thing that led me into seed starting, and it's the second thing that I'm going to tell you as a why you should consider starting your plants from seed at home is going to be to save money. Now, this is probably the number one reason why most people get into seed starting to begin with, and that is to save money. It is just as simple math as you can possibly do when you think about the fact that if you go to the garden center and prices in the last 2 years have actually like doubled here on plant starts. We're looking at $5 and $6 per plant start, or even for the little 6 cell trays, or for an individual slightly larger plant, those are running $5 or $6 per plant. That is uneconomical to be able to fill up an entire garden with plants at that price. That actually just, it does not make any, it doesn't make dollars and cents on why you would go spend all that money when you could instead, I'll grab some seeds over here. Let's see. I have lots of tomato seeds here. We'll talk about tomatoes. That's something people spend a lot of money on, especially around here, is their tomatoes. If you buy 1 pack of tomato seeds, these are aromas. If I were to go buy 1 6-pack of Roma seedlings from the garden center, it would be $5 or $6 for either 4 or 6 tomato plants. That is around $1 a piece. And if I buy them, oh no, I just lost a few. If I buy an entire package of seeds, this was $2.50 for this specific seed pack. I get all of those seeds. There are 40 to 50 seeds in this pack. So for $2.50 and a little bit of soil and a grow light, I could grow 40 tomato plants. And then if I seed save from those tomato plants, I will not even have to buy seeds the next year. So it is extremely economical to learn to start your garden from seed. And so let's just use these tomatoes as an example. Of course, you have more invested than just seeds. You're going to have some soil, you're going to have some seed trays, and you're going to have a grow light. So if we take a $3 pack of seeds, we add in a $5 bag of good seed starting mix soil. So we're at $8, and then maybe a $10 grow light. So we're at $18. And let's see, maybe a tray for $5 that you could grow 36 tomato plants in. It's usually around $5. So for around $23, we'll say $25 just to round it up, you could start 36 tomato plants for $30. And that's just the first year cost. The first year that you start doing your own seed starting, that's a lot of saying the same word over and over again, you're going to have a little bit more money spent because you're going to be buying those trays, and you're going to be buying some grow lamps. But after you buy those, that initial cost is going to be covered, and then you won't have to buy those next year. And it's really year 2 and 3 and so on that you're really going to start to save money, but you're still going to save money even in the first year if you decide to start your plants from seed. Okay, so that was just one example, but for a large garden like mine, I usually start around 40 to 50 tomato plants. If I had to go to the garden store and just buy the tomato plants just alone, and I had to pay $4 per tomato plant, you can imagine where like all of a sudden it's no longer economical for me to even grow tomatoes. I could just go to the store and buy dollar cans of tomato sauce at that point in time and not have to do all the work that it takes. So really the only economical thing that makes sense when you are starting a garden and doing it so that you can save money on your food is to start as many things as possible from seed. And this is something that I think is going to become even more critical of a need for people who are looking and trying to save money on their food in the coming months and years. I don't think that we're going to see any reprieve from inflation anytime soon. As fuel prices continue to go up, plant prices, which are travel via truck to the garden center, those are going to have to take on those extra, their price is going to reflect fuel prices going up. So it's possible we're going to continue to see plant prices increase throughout the next year or two. And also, as fertilizer costs and different chemicals and such as that they use when they are growing plant starts for a garden center, those prices have increased a ton, and so those prices are also reflected in the plant prices. And so I personally think that we're going to continue to see plant prices at the garden centers continue to go up, and also supply and demand as there are more people looking to grow their own food to try to save money and to be more sustainable. That could also possibly cause prices to continue to go up, and this is going to create an even more of a need to learn how to start your garden from seed and get those little seedlings started at your own house instead of going out and spending all that extra money on them. So that is a major reason. Saving money is a definite why. It answers a big why should I start my plants from seed is to save money. Okay, so number three reason of why should you start your plants from seed, and that is going to be because you can control what is going into that plant's environment when you bring that into your own home, and you are in control of the soil that you're going to start those seeds in, the type of seeds that you're going to start, and the type of chemicals that you want or do not want to have put on those plants. So when you're buying plants at a garden center, the majority of those, if not all of them, are going to be sprayed with some type of chemical and some type of growth inhibitor. These plants are started in huge greenhouses, and they are traveled long distances in trucks. And then once they get to the garden center, if you've ever paid any attention or wondered, maybe you haven't because you're just used to seeing them there, those plants, especially like cabbage and your brassicas and such, there's never any bug damage to those, and that's a big indicator that they are very heavily sprayed with some sort of chemical, because those plants are never bothered by any type of pest the entire time they sit at the garden center. If you take the chemicals away, it would be likely that all of those plants could easily get gobbled up just overnight at the garden center. And also, if you've ever noticed at a garden center when you're buying plants, those plants don't really tend to grow a lot. They're all very uniform in height, and they tend to stay that way. And that is because some places spray growth inhibitors on their plants, and that keeps them from outgrowing their pots too quickly. The problem with this is that even when you buy those and you bring them home and put them in your garden, those growth inhibitors are still there for a while until they are eventually wear off. And that can severely stunt the initial growth of those plants when you put them into your garden, and that can delay when you will get your first harvest in. Another reason why, if there aren't growth inhibitors already on those plants, the plants are stuck in those same pots for many months at a time. They can get very root bound, and this can also inhibit the growth and the health of those plants. So when you bring them home and they are severely root bound and you go to plant them, that has kind of stunted their growth already, and it can take a while for those plants to recover, and you're never going to have an extremely healthy plant because of that initial those root problems that it started out with. So to combat those three things, if you start your seeds at home, you're going to be able, if you would like to, you could start your plants in an organic soil. You can choose to not put any of those chemicals on those plants, and you'll also be able to uppot them whenever you're ready to, or go ahead and move them outside as soon as they're ready. And that's going to keep them from getting their root systems damaged, and it's going to give you a much healthier plant in the long run, which by the end of your harvest season is going to equate to a lot better harvest and just a lot stronger plant in the long run. Okay, so the next reason why I would encourage everyone to learn to start plants from seed is just solely for the skill set that you will gain. Even if you are not at a spot where you're going to be growing a really large garden, maybe you're just going to be planting a couple of tomatoes in a pot on your patio, growing some lettuce, or just growing a few things in pots, it is still going to be beneficial to you to start your plants from seed just for the learning experience, just if for nothing else, just for the skill set that you will acquire from learning how to do this. Because I think that one of the worst things that can happen is for there to be a time whenever we actually are in it is an absolute need to start plants from seed and to not have the experience and understand how to treat those seeds at a time when those seeds could be more valuable than ever, and at a time when it is just crucial and you are really depending on these plants to grow and to provide you with a harvest. So if it comes down to that and you've never practiced starting plants from seed, the probability of the plants not being successful or the seed starting going wrong is going to be pretty high. And that is like the worst time ever that you don't want things to go wrong when you need it the most. So it's a lot better to practice now and learn that skill set. And then, hey, if you never need it, you can always just use the knowledge that you have learned to learn how to grow flowers, or something else, some other sort of hobby with plants. And, you know, if you do need it, you will already have that skill. But I think that just having the skill set and knowing how to start your plants from seed, just in case of an emergency, is absolutely just a crucial skill set that we should all learn. This is something that generations before us, they all knew how to do this, and this is just a lost skill that we desperately need to regain, just so that we can be more self-sufficient. And I think that you can't go wrong, and anytime you're learning, it's always a benefit. So it's a great skill to have. So even if you're not where you're even going to be planting a big garden, you could just start out with one tray and one grow light and just a couple of seeds, 2 or 3 tomato seeds, and 5 or 6 pepper seeds, and a few lettuce seeds, and you could just observe and learn all that you can about each one of those seeds and watch each one of them grow. Take notes, and it'll be a great learning experience one way or the other. And there's just something rewarding about taking a seed, planting it, and watching it grow, and the confidence that you will build overall just by knowing that you learned how to do something new. The last little tip, or reason maybe why you might want to start your plants from seed, is because when you start to order your plants from seed and you start to go through like catalogs and you start looking through all of the different types of tomato like this, this has become one of our new favorites. Let's see here, this great white tomato that's kind of yellow right there. We really like that one. It's probably not anything I would have ever just chose to buy from the store, but it is something we saw the seed, we wanted to try it, and we really like the flavor of that. So when you get into looking through seed catalogs, the varieties that you're going to have available to you if you're willing to start things from seed is going to, it just blows the doors wide open on possibilities of what you can grow. And you're going to be able to choose plants not just because of what's the only thing that's available to you at the garden store is the same 4 tomato plants and the same 3 types of squash. You'll really be able to go in search of unique and tasty things that you can grow from seed that you would just never get a chance to grow if you were only relying on your garden center to provide you with plants. So those are my main reasons why I want to encourage you to start something from seed and learn how to have this new skill set of starting your plants from seed. And I don't think you're going to regret it. You're going to save money. You're going to have many more choices of what you want to grow in your garden. You're just going to have the skill set that you can take with you the rest of your life. You're going to save a ton of money, and it's going to help you be a lot more sustainable. So if you are wanting to start some plants from seed, I have two suggestions for you. One is just something I ran across while I was at our Walmart. So I don't know if yours will have this or not, but while I was in Walmart this last week, they had an end cap and they had seeds that were only, I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is 20 cents. Only 20 cents for seed packages. I bought flowers. I have plenty of vegetable seeds. So I bought like some zinnias, some marigolds, and such as that. Because I love having marigolds to plant around my tomatoes. And I love planting zinnias for pollinators. And for 20 cents, I mean, I'm going to get, I opened a package of these already. There was about 20 seeds in each one of these. So that is like 1 penny per plant versus $3 or $4 a plant at the garden center. Well worth it. But they also had the same brand right here. American, let's see here. American Seed. I don't know if you can see that or not. They had an entire display of 20-cent packages of seeds, and they had all sorts of vegetable seeds like beans and onions, carrots, lettuces, squash and zucchini. So for 20 cents, if you're just beginning and you're just not for sure if this is something you want to do or not, you could grab some of these 20-cent packages and you could practice with them, and you're not going to be out a lot of money at all. But if you're wanting to order some really good quality heirloom seeds, I'm going to recommend, this is where the majority of my garden is grown, from this seed. Once again, I don't know if you'll be able to see it well or not, but it is right here. And it's called seedcatalog.com. And I highly recommend these. I'll put a picture right here of my garden. And those pictures of my garden, almost everything in that garden is grown from seed from seedcatalog.com. They're all heirloom, open pollinated seeds, so I can seed save from all of those plants in my garden every year. Great quality and really great germination rates, probably the best germination rates of plants that I have personally ever bought from this company. So I highly recommend it. And seed companies are already starting to sell out of some of their really popular seeds. So if you have not ordered seeds yet, I would highly recommend you go ahead and stop what you're doing or make some time this evening after supper, whatever, and order your seeds, because they will sell out fast. I think that more people than ever are jumping on board this garden train, hoping to save some money with all the grocery prices being, just inflation being crazy. The garden really can be a great way to save some money on your grocery bill, and especially when you start from seed. So I hope this video has encouraged you in case you're sitting on the fence trying to decide whether you really want to try to start some more things from seed, or maybe you've never tried it before. I encourage you that it is well worth it to start your plants from seed. And I'm going to be making several more videos, sort of like a series, a seed starting series. I'm going to be talking about seed starting supplies. We're going to be talking about when to start your seeds, how to plan your garden, what types of seeds do I recommend that you grow. And this is going to be from a sustainable approach. We're going to talk about heirloom and open pollinated and GMOs and all the questions surrounding seeds. We're going to try to go through a few of those things, hybrids, all the different types of seeds, so that you can choose what will work best for you. And let's see, we'll talk about just all sorts of seed starting tips to get you off to a running start and help you be successful with your garden venture. So I hope you will come back and watch those videos as well. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.